Welcome back to Out of Spec. I have with me a box, and inside this box is the Comma 3X from Comma.AI Incorporated. That is the company that a lot of people have been screaming at us, for lack of a better term, to test in our hogback challenge. We have those videos coming. We are going to do an updated hogback challenge with our 2022 Rivian R1T, and also install the Comma.AI, and then do an updated hogback challenge with that. Those will be videos over on the testing channel, but for now, for today, we're going to show you guys how to install a Comma.AI on the Rivian, show you kind of how it works on a basic level, and any tips and tricks we learn along the way. Let's see how easy this is. Welcome to the inside of a Rivian R1T. It's a little bit of a mess, we'll just ignore that.
Like you've never seen one before.
Yeah, but yeah, time to unbox this thing. Pretty simple, right?
Yep. Just open the box. It's like a little Comma logo. It's kind of nice.
Nice packaging.
Piece of cardboard to protect it.
Nice.
It's trash. We have...
Oh, recycling. This is Boulder.
Oh, sorry. Setup guide and everything that's included. 2 mounts and a USB-C cable. And then there it is.
So it basically looks like a smartphone and sort of is. I mean, the processor in it, I think it's a Snapdragon. It is basically a smartphone capabilities. More cooling, which is nice. And look at that, a comma-shaped fan opening for cooling.
That's cool.
So if only GoPros had this much cooling, because we put GoPros in the windshield a lot, and they overheat like crazy.
Yeah. And then we have some cables. So from my understanding is we have 2 different cables. Oh, this is OBD2, but it's missing some pins. So we have 2 USB-C cables. One's very long, one's very short. I think for the short one's for here.
Yep.
This cable, you take out this piece off right here, and then...
Well, that's for down here.
Plug some stuff and plug some stuff back in. And that's all that's included.
That's pretty simple, I think. Okay. Guess we'll install it, but yeah, here's the device. Obviously the screen faces you. The camera is what is also monitoring you, is the driver monitoring camera, and the camera on the back is what is...
You're telling me I have to pay attention?
The cameras on the back are what are actually, you know, looking ahead on the road and how this thing actually functions. So yeah, pretty curious how it all works. All right, so we have this...
So, hold on. I was wrong. We don't take this off. That's one video I saw, but I don't know where it came from.
Some cars do that, but Tijmen didn't press the right link or something.
Blame it on me.
Yeah. So this, we remove a panel down there. We'll show that. Plug this in. That's how it interfaces with the Rivian. And we've seen things like this with, you know, sexy buttons and Teslas and other things like that. It just kind of taps into the existing AXM module.
And then we plug this USB-C cord in here and then route it all the way up here and try to hide it as best as possible. And then we can turn the car on, reset it, and then connect it to Wi-Fi and install software. Very simple.
Onwards. So to start, you'll unscrew 2 bolts down below the glove. Well, there's no glove box in this car, is there? Where you would normally find a glove box, down below that, 2 T20 screws that you can have a YouTube certified technician like Tijmen unscrew. Pull that
as long as you watch the right setup guide.
As long as you watch the right video, pull that panel off, and then we should have access to the AXM, which stands for Autonomy Experience Module, and that's where we'll find the pin that we need.
Oh, there's a couple fries on the seat.
That's not surprising.
Oh, and we're missing... Oh, never mind. I just took that one out.
Oh my gosh.
There we go. There's a little, like, movable plastic thing, I think maybe for, like, an air vent. You can kind of push out of the way and get your fingers in there, and then you can kind of pull this down. And if you have a plastic trim tool, it makes it probably a little bit easier. Yep. Wow, look at that. Easy as cake. And then you can pull out the light.
Yep, just some tabs there to pull the light out.
Yep.
By the way, they recommend having external light sources because the light will power off when the truck kind of takes a nap or something.
Yeah, I think if you close the driver door, it would take a nap.
All right, got the piece pulled out.
Yeah, so there's clips that hold this light into place. You can push this out of the plastic trim that sits like this, so it comes out this way, and then you just pull this apart, and then it just moves, and then you can just slide it back in, I think. Yep.
Nice.
It's back in place.
All right. So now we have to find the actual cable. There's the AXM, that silver box there. And back behind there is the actual thing we need to pull out. All right, now we can see the pins.
Yeah, I made Jordan hold my flashlight straight like any good son. And then I used 2 flatheads, one to push the pin in. So that back one is the one you got to take out. And I put a flathead underneath that pink and kind of gave it a little pull while pushing in the pin up there somewhere to release it, and it came right out.
So next up is we'll have to put this back in where that pin was. And this is kind of a splice device, for lack of a better term. We may have to like angle this pretty aggressively to get it back in there. And then we can plug the pin Tijmen took out into this one. So it basically just sits in between the two, giving a male and female section. And then this has the USB cable that will power the device. So we used a bit of a claw thing, flexible claw thing, to pull it.
Yeah, I highly recommend getting this if you're going to do this. It really makes it a lot easier to pull the stock harness forward so you can plug in the new Comma system. But now the hard part is
plugging in the Comma splice to the actual AX.
Yeah, while the other stock cord is already kind of in the way of this. So wish me luck.
Glad Rivian came with his flashlight. It's pretty nifty.
Yeah, Jordan had the time of his life just filming.
Okay, well, it's really hard to show, but putting your hand through the left of this and then finding the pin way back there, pushing it in. It was a little higher than I thought it should have been, but that's where it is. It's really hard to explain. Comma.AI also has a video on this, by the way, that's probably a little bit clearer, but hey, if we find tips and tricks, we'll share them. So that worked. So we got both ends plugged in, the Rivian side and the Comma side, and we have the wire. So now we'll route that and show you guys how we route that. This also has some 3M adhesive on the back, so I might stick it right up here just so the wire isn't like somehow going to pull itself out when Kyle's doing a drift. So that's what we're doing here. All right, so found it a lot easier to pull this thing off. All the pins go just that way, so you pull it out that way, and you have to pull this back a little bit. Then you can kind of put the wire through there, catch it through here, and that makes it pretty easy. We'll route that through there, but I just want to get the right length. So we'll probably do up top here first because it's easier to hide slack down in here rather than up there. Tijmen's also cleaning the windshield with the...
just cleaned it with the
included, the included alcohol wipe. And yeah, this includes the 8-degree mount. You want to make sure you have the 8-degree mount for the Rivian windshield rake, and that should give it the right angle to look out front. And yeah, it is annoying, I think, to maybe have something sitting in their line of sight in the windshield,
but it's easy to take off. So
yeah, easy to take off, and I mean, you kind of have to see it to know what's happening. So this will be really interesting. All right, so once we have that all mounted, by the way, you don't want to mount it right up against because you have to have room to slide it off this mount. That's really good to know. And yeah, so we're using the cable that's included that's shorter with the right hand like input. So that way it's, well, it's a slimmer cable. It's easier to route through this thing. And you just pop this thing off, pop the middle thing out, pull this thing down, like kind of straight perpendicular to the windshield. That's how the clips work. And then yeah, that's pretty easy ish.
Yep, there we go. You can push this a little bit in, or I guess maybe outward, so it's not covering the camera. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you can close it. So this is a pull down. You have to get plier that's big enough to spread the force generally, but there's one clip here towards the top and then one towards the bottom.
Yep. And then I kind of routed it on the other side of this thing here. I don't know what that is, but probably camera. And that way this thinner wire is a little easier to put in here. So we should be able to snap it back into place.
At some point. I think we should route, yeah, we can route this up here.
Okay, so they include this USB 4 40 gigabit per second connector. It's a female to connect these two cables together. We're hiding that up there. Feels like it's plugged in really solidly, so it's not going to go anywhere. That's also thick enough to where it's nice to keep it from just sliding out the
like every dash cam wire.
So just feeding it along here. Dude, this is feeling super OEM plus, if you ask me. And then, yeah, like I said earlier, pulling slack through here, we have a lot of place we can collect the slack further down.
Yeah, I think we're going to put most of the slack under by the carpet where the feet go, because it's better, because there's way more movement there anyways. And then just going to make it as tight as possible in this windowsill and up here so that it doesn't move when getting used or anything. But you do have to kind of watch out right here because there is an airbag. So it could just blow up at any second in Jordan's face.
Hopefully not.
That'd be kind of funny though. So I'm going to leave a little bit of slack right here, just so there's some movement if they were to accidentally kick the wire, even though it's going to be behind the carpet up here. Just in case, just leave a little bit of slack. I did put it above the wiring loom that is right there. I tried to get it in here, but was going to become too difficult, so it easily squeezes right through that spot and then just comes out over here, and then just gonna plug it in right there and then tuck all the wiring behind there and put this all back together. While Jordan's cleaning the windshield like a good boy, it just turned on. I guess I just plugged it in, so it's just turning on for the first time. Hey, you missed a spot on the windshield, Jordan.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't think Kyle cleans his cars.
No. All right. Connect to Wi-Fi. Pause.
Okay, choose software to install. OpenPilot or custom software. OpenPilot. Downloading. So, my understanding is there's a few different branches. I mean, OpenPilot is open source, and so there's a variety of branches. There's no really clear instructions on which branch does what. Like, there's just so many variations, apparently. But I've heard we should do SunnyPilot. So that's what we're going to do. We might try something else as well, but SunnyPilot seems to be a really solid one that a lot of people recommend. So give that a go, I guess.
Yeah, we'll catch you at the next step.
All right, I think it is installed. Now it says, welcome to OpenPilot. Please accept terms and conditions. Sure. Begin training. It's important to understand the functionality and limitations of the OpenPilot alpha software before testing. Nah. So it kind of walks you through what it actually is. Attention is required at all times. You promise that you will keep your eyes on the road. Be ready to take over any time. Be ready to take over any time. Oh, it's the same bullet point twice. That's funny. The driving path. So it kind of walks you through how to understand the UI. Tap the driving path to continue. Lead car indicator. So OpenPilot can detect two cars simultaneously. So perhaps one in front of the other, I'm guessing, or maybe that means one to the left or right. Not really sure, but a second triangle will appear when a cut-in is detected. Yes, so if someone else starts interfering with your path, no triangle is present, then your car may be using its stock adaptive cruise control system, and some OpenPilot features may not be available. Tap the lead car indicator. How to engage it. So, you engage it the same way you would engage Rivian's highway drive assist. Tap set and the image to continue. They make you pay attention. It's kind of funny. Tap the driver. So driver monitoring uses this camera. We understand that. Distracted driving. There's an alert that comes up on the screen if you're distracted. So that'll be locked out from engaging after increasing alerts of severity. If the problem persists, the system will begin decelerating the vehicle.
Oh, that's interesting.
Tap the alert. Improve driver monitoring. You want to include data in the training set? Sure. Why not? Adjust max speed limit. Do that on your vehicle as usual. How to change lanes. If you are traveling above 30 miles per hour OpenPilot can perform a lane change. Keep in mind that it is not capable of checking if the lane change is safe. So that's one huge limitation that people, I'm hoping, don't abuse, but it says this is your job. Once initiated, then it will do an automatic lane change, which would be pretty cool. Can't wait to try that. Then try the lane change. So yeah, turn on your turn signal, check your surroundings when it's safe. Nudge the steering wheel towards the desired lane. Sequence will turn off signal, and sequence of turn signal and wheel nudge will prompt OpenPilot to change lanes. Tap the steering wheel to continue. How to disengage? Disengage by pressing the brake pedal. Limited features. It will not recognize stoplights, closed cut-ins, or pedestrians. You must stay alert. I will say some branches, I think, are starting to experiment with that. And then disengage OpenPilot. When it's engaged, you may keep your hands on the wheel to override steering wheel controls. Steering and distance to the lead car will be managed by OpenPilot until the brake pedal is pressed to disengage. Tap the brake pedal. So, wow, it's a lot of things. Took you to school. Cannot stay engaged while the driver is distracted. Cannot see other cars during a lane change. Cannot stop for red lights, stop signs, or pedestrians. Or react to unsafe situations like close vehicle cut-ins or road hazards. So, you're supposed to pay attention for all of that. Congratulations! Restart. No. Wow. Check that out. All right, so a couple things. They recommend doing a kind of a soft reset.
Yeah.
So I think that's this left button.
Yep.
And hazards. And you hold it down for like 15 seconds.
Guess we'll find out how long.
I think it's actually left, not the left scroll wheel, but the left button on the steering wheel.
Oh.
And it'll do a Rivian, yep, keep holding. So it'll do a reset. And then that clears any errors that may have happened by us unplugging the, was it AXM? Yeah.
Do I keep holding?
I think you can stop now. Yeah, it's restarting. So you see a progress bar on the screen.
Now you got a cruise fault restart on this.
CAN bus disconnected, likely faulty cable. So that's fine. That's all working on itself right now. And then once that's done, it'll clear any errors that may have come up. And then it asks to recalibrate. So just drive above 15 miles an hour, something like that?
Just drive for 15 minutes on normal roads, I'm assuming, so it can read the road lines.
Yep, that makes sense. So that auto-calibrates itself. Then we should be able to finish setup and take it out for a good old test.
It seems to be calibrating pretty quickly if you're going over 15 miles an hour. That's all it wasn't 15 minutes, 15 miles an hour. So it's almost calibrated. It's already at 60%. So maybe we get the first little test here. I don't know really exactly how this works. We haven't installed the other software yet either. So we'll see. Let's see. Oh, it says highway assist unavailable right here. Okay. Is it doing it? Is it doing it? It kind of seems like it's doing it. Wow, look at that. Not pre-mapped. Not pre-mapped.
All right, so after the install, Tijmen went and drove it to get lunch.
Yeah, I showed a clip of it calibrating and then trying it out for the first time, but
yeah,
now we're actually trying it out.
After the 15 minutes of calibration, because it was about 15?
No, it was about 3 minutes of 15 mile an hour or higher.
Oh, okay. So it really didn't need much to calibrate. And now it seems to work great. We're doing lane steering on a road that previously I was not able to do on a Rivian. Notably, I could do this road on GM's Super Cruise. However, Super Cruise fails right about here because then the pre-mapping stops. But this doesn't need pre-mapping, so I guess this works like pretty much anywhere. Even I've heard some very non-marked roads like gravel and stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it adapts the lines here pretty well to any type of road.
Yeah.
But I think if there's no lane markings, you could cause a head-on collision.
Yeah. So we're going to do a full review of this with Kyle because I definitely want him to experience it in his truck. But for now, just kind of a first impressions thing to tack onto the end of the install. Seems pretty awesome. I know there are limitations with how much torque it can put into the wheel. That's why we're doing the hogback challenge to really gauge that. But the screen is nice. We didn't really mention much specs up front, but this is an OLED screen. It's a 2:1 ratio, so 1080p. I guess 1080 by 2160. Yeah, seems nice. Like I said, Snapdragon 795 or something processor. 3 different 1080p cameras. The one on the interior is actually like night vision, whereas the ones on the front are looking forwards, obviously with a wide angle, and then a second lens looking further down. So you really get, I guess, double accuracy looking forwards. And so far, it seems to work great. I mean, I guess it's hands-free. It doesn't really react to touching the wheel or not, but I guess if I look away, it starts to get mad at you.
No idea. I haven't tried this yet, but it shows you like in the, yeah, it says pay attention.
Oh, and then I looked back.
There's a little thing in the corner that says face.
I looked back and it immediately fixed itself. So now I'm looking away again. I'm actually looking at the road still, just like through my peripheral.
Yep, pay attention.
And then what?
Pay attention, driver distracted. And then as soon as you look back, it goes, that's pretty cool.
That is really fast.
Yeah.
Like so snappy. Some other cars, notably FSD, sometimes you're like, I'm literally paying attention, and it takes forever to realize you are actually paying attention. That's
or if you just saw Rich Rebuild's Fisker video, he's staring at the road and it's still yelling at him.
I love that he's making Fisker content. Another thing to mention is, we're in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. This shows GPS speed. To my understanding, though, you have to actually pay to get...
Wow, it did that. Earlier, it would have, when I first used it, it would have given up. So it is actively learning what the car can do.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is when we do these, like, lane splits, which lanes are going to pick. Okay, it picks this lane. It does pretty well with
and
that.
We're going to rear end the Model Y.
And it's stopping because it has, adaptive cruise control built in, gauging the car in front of us. However, if we were in the front of this lane...
It would have driven through the red light.
Through because it doesn't do red lights. Now, there are branches that we're going to be playing with in the future. Sunny Pilot, Frog Pilot. There's other branches that will do more advanced things, possibly even some navigation, maybe stoplights, stop signs. But like it said in the beginning, no stop sign, no stoplight, no pedestrian stuff right now. It's just basic lane centering, adaptive cruise control that seems pretty good. I believe it's neural trained. They've done, I don't know how many million of miles of road. This says adaptive cruise control paused. I've just tapped the accelerator to resume. Boom, there we go, back in action. But yeah, it's been trained on people driving with OpenPilot for nearly a decade. So that's really cool. However, it's a lot of different cars, but it still is like relatively neural network trained, which is why it feels very natural, similar to FSD. That's the same premise as FSD. But it also sometimes will slightly veer over the line in circumstances where you have like a sharp turn. Like right here, it's on the line for some reason. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because that's how people drive this road. So
the Subaru's about to cut us off, or not. They're not paying attention.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. So we'll have to see, guys, what this does in the Hogback Challenge. I am super curious. Do you have any predictions, Tijmen?
I think it's going to do all right. I think it probably will do better on the way back because the bottom hairpin isn't there. And it seems like it's adaptively learning. So maybe in 6 months' time, we'll do another test with open beta software that it comes on.
I think the idea is to run maybe multiple OpenAI instances throughout its development, throughout its other branches, and maybe even other cars, because OpenAI may function slightly differently on various cars because of how much torque input is allowed on the wheel, etc. So I think it'll be really fun to live with this, to try it out, and that's kind of an early, unboxing, installation, basic steps. There's definitely more details on the 300 plus cars that they currently support on the website, but I'm pretty impressed so far. We'll have to play with the drive modes, of course. You can do like, I don't know what they call them, but kind of like the chill.
There's a chill mode is the only one I saw, but I'm sure there's like super aggressive mode as well.
Standard and aggressive, and then there's other branches that do even more aggressive. There's even a branch, I think maybe Sunny Pilot does the hyper aggressive, where you follow the car right in front. So
perfect.
It's like Tijmen mode.
Yeah.
So we'll have to play with all those. And again, like I said, review coming. So stay tuned. And until then, thanks for watching. Let us know if you have any installation and questions, because I think we've learned a lot. It took us like an hour, but if we do it again,
it could probably take actually like 15-20 minutes, but
yeah,
it's installed. So check us out on the testing channel to see how it does on the Hogback.
Yep.
See ya.
See ya.